Hello, hello, my dear friends, you've reached Elena's bar. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. She'll help improve your fitness, but there's also so much more. 'Cause here are just a few things that this channel has in store. There's barre and there's Pilates and there's belly dancing too. And many styles of yoga, so I'm sure there's one for you. Then watch her practice piano string from right within her home. She's in such big condition, she'll outrun the metronome. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. They're the best place on the internet, the very best by far. It's not just the piano, but the ukulele too. The guitar and violin are even more that she can do. She does so many different things, it's hard not to lose track. I nearly didn't mention that she posts on her Substack. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. Yeah, controversial topics may be brought up for discussion, but try not to provoke her or she'll swear at you in Russian. And sometimes certain topics can make quite a big impression. So remember, you take part at your own risk and your discretion. Yeah, let's Barre, yeah, let's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. You might even meet Anitta if you're quite a loyal fan. She's got a fixed male cat, but she's so desperate for a man. We've really got it all, then you couldn't ask for more. So sit right back and watch Elena shave a 3 or 4. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far.
Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. We are back with our Saturday's discussions with the Resurgence guys. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing well.
Well, okay. We are starting a little late today, but that's okay, guys. We will probably finish on time today because Nick has to leave sooner than usual. So, guys, a quick reminder here before we start. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe if you are joining us for these discussions and it's not your first time and you enjoy what you hear. It helps the channel a lot. Then go subscribe to the Resurgence of Sanity, guys. I have Nick today with us and I have Steve Sandman. And we are going to have a lot of fun today. We have an interesting topic. We are going to talk about how women ruin their own lives and the lives of their children. And I was kind of inspired with this topic because we usually do these intros why we chose this topic, because I've seen stories and you've probably seen them too, how your relatives, there might be a breakup in the family that is happening there, and then you watch how it plays out later in life, how it impacts the children in the family. Children in the end are the ones that are going to suffer. And if the mother is not suffering at the moment, she probably will at some point in the future if she doesn't choose another man, right? If she doesn't monkey branch and then she ends up being single. And then maybe for her, the side effects of that breakup are not going to be that severe, but they are definitely going to damage the kids. So, yeah, let's talk about it, guys.
What do you mean the side effects are not going to be that severe? When a woman is on her own, I don't like a train wreck in slow motion. It just keeps
I know,
going.
Steve, but a lot of them, they monkey branch before they end up being single. So if there is another guy who will bail her out of that situation, or if it's not like Nick's case, okay, here, when she already had a plan B before she left Nick and the kids, right? So
It seemed that way, yeah.
in some cases, I'm not saying that it's like the normal thing that is happening, but there are quite a few women who are initiating the divorce so that they can move on to the next guy, and then in that case the next guy will soften it for her, you know?
Yeah, it's still a train wreck in slow motion because the next guy will also be a temporary guy. And in 10 years, he's going to be gone. And then she's going to be, well, if she started this at 30, then she'll be 40. Or if she started at 35, she'll be 45. And then she's going to be looking for a man. And then the next one after that will be even shorter lived, and men won't be paying attention to her. So she'll be in her 50s. And okay, what she instigated in her early 30s or maybe at 40, whatever, 10 years down the road, okay, she might have a recovery, but that's just a blip on the path down. And so it's still a train wreck in slow motion. And that's why we say old women will end up with box wine and cats. That's the train wreck in slow motion. That's the destination.
Mm.
But
Well,
she doesn't ever think so.
of course
Until
not.
maybe too late. But then she still has some weird justifications, like that old lady that we did an episode on. What was it, about a month back or so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
She was going on her spiritual journey to find herself. And yeah, she landed a lot of different places. So, but she never landed in a state. She never became stable. She left stability, and it was a train wreck ever since.
Yes. And
true.
along her track, she had a lot of stops, just like a train. Oh, go to the next town, stop there, have a little fun. Oh, no, get back on the train, go further down the track. And you know what? 50 miles down the track, the bridge is out.
That's a great analogy. Wow. So you think that there is no stability for them once they settle down for a short period of time with the next guy? Maybe, who knows, maybe they'll settle down for a longer period.
I'm crossing my fingers.
No. Okay, they had stability with the
Okay.
man. They're leaving. They're moving away from stability toward exploration.
Mm-hmm.
So if you leave stability, how can you find stability? You're going to find exploration, and you're going to explore to find adventure. Adventure is not stability.
Yeah, but if
They got to go on all those vacations and travel the world.
well, look, but if they actually married the next guy, then isn't it stability in a way?
The dead cat bounce.
Hey, the guy that's she left, if he's paying child support and marries another guy, he hopes there's stability. 2 reasons. Hope there's stability for his kids that are in the home, that he's a stable person, and that there's some sort of masculine present stability, whatever. Secondly, it lowers the payments.
Or if she
It
marries
can lower the payments. Yes.
if she marries second time, it will lower the alimony and the child support.
Or eliminate it. And so it depends on the state. It's not the same in all states. But do you know what a dead cat bounce is?
What?
It's a stock market term.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, theoretically, the market, let's say, is at 1,000, and you have a crash, and the value drops from 1,000 to 500. Okay, it's like, okay, now what's going to happen next? Oh, you're going to get a rebound up to 800, a 300-point rally. That's called the dead cat bounce. So, yes, it looks like she divorces, crashes. She's got a plan. She's going to recover. Oh, look how great she's doing. Well, she's still not up to where she was. And then it'll maintain there. And then there'll be another downward move. And it could be gradual, it could be abrupt, but the trend is down. And the reason they call it a dead cat bounce, it's men's perverse humor. You stand on the top of a 2-story building and you take a dead cat and you throw it off. And it violently hits the pavement. You know what? It hits the pavement so hard that even a dead cat will bounce. That's why it's called a dead cat bounce.
That makes sense. Wow.
Men have different sayings for things that they observe in a certain area of their expertise, and they're not always nice sayings. But the thing is, when you get this concept in one area, it's usually translatable to other areas.
Dead cat bounce. There we go.
Nice. So what
Do
do
you
you
have an experience in that area, Steve?
Well, I mean, I recovered. I don't know. Maybe I'm on a dead cat bounce too. You never know. But looking at my exes, and I don't follow it closely, I can imagine they're not doing all that well because they just took on a lot of responsibilities. And I'll guarantee their salaries are not going up or keeping up with the pace of inflation. Whereas mine pretty much is. I mean, I'm not a high paid guy, but I'm doing fine. And, I get compensated and I get raises. I'm a union guy. So, they negotiate for those. And generally, they're decent.
Yeah. Yeah, men usually wins long term with the divorce. It just takes a while. But women, in the short term, it looks like she's winning, but no, they can't do math. And what fascinates me that they pick like, okay, 10 cents more, like the lottery. They see that, oh, this guy has more of something, the grass is greener on that side. And then they go with this guy, they ditch their previous husband, and it ends up that he's not all that great as their ex-husband, but they've ruined that relationship, and then they are kind of like bouncing. And I've seen single women who haven't found a husband, who have been in the recovery mode for so many years, for decades, and now they are out of a market. They nobody wants them, really.
No. Why would you
Yep.
want why would you want somebody that wrecked a house? Why would you want somebody that's perpetually recovering? And they basically make themselves out past they hit the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And post wall, their desirability goes way down.
Yeah. It's like I was thinking there was one friend who did it to her family. She left the family, she left her kids without the father. And I was thinking, okay, if that man, if I was trusting all of her stories that she was telling herself and others about that man, he was such a horrible guy. If he was so bad, then why didn't you marry a better man within a short period of time when you still could pull off a better guy, let's say? No, nobody was better than him, as it turns out, and now she's single. and now she's griping and whining that there is nobody better, nobody to save her. It's
Well,
devastating to
yes and
watch.
no. Remember, I talked about this once before. She's in her exploration phase in her early 20s, looking for adventure and fun and excitement. Goes with a certain type of man then. But as she approaches 30, oh, time for a family. I need stability. So she chooses a stable man. Guess what? Stability is boring. So she stays with that and the stability, or call it the purity phase. And then, oh man, this is just, I don't have the excitement and adventure. And, he's boring. And so then he has a couple kids. It's about 10 years later. She got married at 30. Now she's 40. She's still kind of a little bit hot. She says, I can do better. And I can go back and find the stability, but I can have the excitement. So, okay, she was choosing for different reasons, and now her emotions and her goals have changed, and so now she has to go on a journey. And that's the theme. When a woman leaves, she's going on a journey. A journey is an adventure away from stability.
Yeah. And some marriages break apart when women marry too young. This is what I notice with all the couples now who are breaking apart. They marry very young, they have their kids, but then they feel like they are missing something out because they didn't have that whole phase. They immediately after school or college, they just married the guy, and then they stayed with the family until kids grew up, and then they decided one day that their husband wasn't good enough, he wasn't fun, he wasn't providing them that adventure, and that they leave the family when kids usually are grown up.
I
They
got something
take
to
care
say
of
about. I'll
themselves.
tell you why that happens. Social media,
Mm,
Facebook, Instagram. Look what everybody's doing. And they have all these instant responses on social media to the stuff that they put out, and they see other people getting all these responses. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, can you believe this? And then they have their divorced friends and all their stupid adventures that they hear about, who are miserable, but they put on the fun face, right? And so that filters in, and they cannot be content with a normal marriage.
mhm.
Right. And you know what? With that explanation Elena used, it's so common. Everybody says that. Remember that phrase? They married too young. That's the cause. You know what? Bullshit.
Yeah.
When it fails later, oh, the problem was you married too young. No, that wasn't the problem, because 100 years ago, women would marry 15, 16, 18 years old, have 7, 8, 10 kids. And, that's your grandmother, your great grandmother. She stayed married. Did she marry too young? Oh, no. Now in our modern age, they do. No, it's that, as Nick said, they are enticed and told that, no, you can have more. So they're going to search for more. And it's that's the path. The problem is probably not, or not exclusively, that they married too young. Because now, a woman, instead of being married at 22 on average 50 years ago, they're now getting married at 28. And the outcome is actually worse. The divorce rate is higher. So how can you claim that, the problem is they marry too young?
Right. Well, I hear it. It's a very common scenario. This is what women tell to themselves, and the problem is, and you guys pointed it out in your prior streams, that she's team woman. She's not team her husband. She prioritizes the sisterhood and what she hears her friends are doing. So if she surrounds herself with single cat ladies who are divorced, who didn't prioritize the family, right? Because they are single now, single cat
Right.
ladies. So they are very likely to impact her. This is why there was one family, a great example of a good family, when a husband saw that his wife was talking to single women. He told her, you are not allowed to talk to them anymore. Find yourself different friends, married women, fine, great, talk to them instead. I don't want any single women. I don't want you to have any thoughts about leaving this family, because if you start talking to this woman, she will you will just acquire some of your qualities, and you will be influenced by her.
Two things. Birds of a feather flock together, and the Bible verse in 1 Corinthians 15 says, do not be deceived. It says, bad company ruins good morals.
I'm writing it down.
What's the other thing? A bad apple ruins the bunch, or what's that phrase?
A bad apple ruins the bunch. Spoils the bunch. What? Yeah. A bad apple spoils the bunch.
So if you have a basket full of apples, and there's an apple that just develops that blemish, which starts to rot, and it's a bad apple. You leave that apple in the basket with the others, all of them are going to spoil sooner. You take it out and throw it away, then the apples will remain edible much, much longer.
Yeah. This is why you see, especially you can see it in smaller towns. And I was raised in a smaller town. I could see a lot of these stories when men would just say, like, no, you don't talk to this woman. And it's very easy to find out. You just cut somebody out, and in a small town, it's very easy to figure it out. What's going on. So a lot of men would say to their wives that, nope, not talking to that lady, not talking to that lady.
Would they be known as the town bicycle?
Those ladies? Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. It's just bad reputation, and then you could see what they did to their families, how they wrecked the lives of their kids. It's not good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't help anyone. It's not healthy. Yeah. So
So the title of this stream is Women Destroy Themselves and Their Kids. Is that true? Elena, is that true?
that they destroyed their kids and themselves?
No, yeah, right. In that order.
Yeah. Depending on what actions they take, if they stay in the family with the husband that they have kids with, then no. But most divorces today are initiated by women, so yeah, they are destroying their kids and they are destroying their family. And then if you look at how they get clout on social media, we've talked about it so many times with the yoga community. They build huge media accounts for their children, and then vicariously they get the attention to their kids. It's like exploitation, kids exploitation here on display.
Her husband had
Internet is not a safe place. It's not a safe place for children because there are so many creeps who are looking into that content. It's a public account. You can't control who is watching it.
So your husband, Plutarch, taught me something, or a phrase, low time preference, or preference for low time. That means, okay, I want it now. Not, it's like, okay, we'll start with a purchase. Okay, you're going to buy a car. You probably should buy like a $15,000 car, which is a decent car, and you should plan ahead so you have $5,000 saved up to go to buy that $15,000 car, and it's going to be good enough, but you're not going to get it today. You're going to save for it. Versus a low time preference person says, gee, I want a $35,000 car and I haven't saved anything, but I can go get a loan for this and I can get it today. That means I want it today. I want the benefit today. I'm not willing to work for it. So with women, when they want to divorce, I am unhappy today. I need to change today. And, then go through whatever and find another man in. Okay, so low time preference. They are not looking ahead for 10 years. They're not planning ahead for 10 years. Yes, they're planning ahead, usually to divorce and get the cash and prizes, but they're not really looking ahead further than that. And, you say women don't like math. Well, math is kind of like compound interest. It's kind of like saving. If I save now, then I'll have more money to buy what I want later, and I'll have worked for it, and I'll have stability. That's math. That's rational. That's logical. That's patience. That's working for something. No, women want it now.
Do you remember we did an episode with you a while ago about gain without pain?
Yeah, same thing.
They just want fast result, a quick fix. It looks like it fixes their problem, but it doesn't.
I missed what you said. My internet was going in and out. I'm sorry.
Oh, we did an episode with Steve a while ago about gain without pain, where people are just so hyper-focused on quick fix and quick solution, or they think that, like Steve was talking about, this old car versus new car. They don't want to save the money for a good car. They just want to buy it right away, and then the banks just give them loans, and people don't want to do any work, to do any effort to get the good things.
So no personal discipline.
Yeah.
You know what? I just thought of something. When you meet a woman, you're evaluating her, you might want to look at the car she's driving. Okay, so she could be driving a new car and making payments. You wonder, gee, that just seems like she can't afford that. Or she could be driving an old piece of shit car that is barely running. The muffler's loud. It's just a rattle trap. Obviously, she's not maintaining it. She's driving it into the ground, and the thing is filthy, dirty. It's just like, oh, man. Let's use this. It's an analogy for your life. Your life is a rolling disaster, or your life is a fiction where you're paying through the nose to keep up the appearance. Now, how many women fall in the middle where they're driving a 10-year-old Toyota Camry. 15-year-old Toyota Camry. Not a flashy car. Super reliable. Keep up with the maintenance. Keep it in decent shape. And it's going to serve you well. And but it's not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you want a stable woman, maybe you should find that rare woman who's not driving the piece of crap car that's barely running or the flashy new car.
Yeah, I watched the show with Donovan Sharp was doing a breakdown on Pop the Balloon. And it was an interesting episode. Every time they let women choose the guys, and Donovan actually came up with this thesis that women tend to destroy the good show, because initially Arlette was running a show to find love and people were mating, right? And now recently there were not so many matches, because when they allow women to choose the guys, women are just playing it till the end. So they get more clout, more attention, because they are showing their IG accounts in the description of the show. And women have figured out the game, how they can destroy it, right? How they can use it to their advantage. And then they are not picking the decent guys out there. So there was a question. A guy came out and he said, which car would you ladies prefer? I would give you $6,000. You could buy a car. So which car are you buying? An old car or a new car? And guess what? What did they choose?
Oh, that makes a nice down payment on a new car.
Exactly. I think there was only one girl out of all of them who like wasn't sure. She would say like, I want a not so new car, maybe, but it still must be a decent car. So yeah, but nobody could give him an explicit answer. Like they all wanted a new car.
Yeah. What woman wants to drive a Chevy Caprice from the 1990s or early 2000s? I don't know if you remember those. Just big, just bulbous, big four-door, or let's say a Ford
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
Lincoln
Chevy.
Town Car, or what
Yeah,
was the big ass Ford four-door. I mean, those things
just like a
had
Mercury Sable or something.
No, earlier than that.
Grand Marquis.
Grand Marquis. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, those cars were just bulletproof. They had technology that had been perfected since the 60s, 70s, 80s, and just bulletproof. Not flashy, not going to go down the road fast, but you're going to be in comfort. But no, it's boring.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look
Ultra reliable. Easy and cheap to maintain. But no, I wouldn't be caught dead driving one of those.
Right. It doesn't match the color of my eyes, Steve. It has to match.
I wonder if women actually do that. Do they really do that when they go car shopping? If it has to match the color of their eyes?
You might see a few nerds who actually know what they're doing. I'm giving the benefit of doubt that there are a few women who are more intelligent than but
Look,
in general,
I never heard that one.
in
Do you know
general,
something I don't know? I mean,
no, in general, they don't care about the technical details. They just look at how the car shows up on pictures.
they have to have the leather seats. They have to have the booty warmers.
Yeah, all of the features that are quite irrelevant. Like men would never pay attention to this. Yeah. This is why every time I don't know something, I prefer a man or somebody who knows what they are doing choose it for me, because I don't know. I don't know which cars are best. I'm not a technical. I don't have like a super technical mindset here. Yeah. It's just funny. I just saw a few friends how they were picking up the cars, how they were choosing the cars, and it had to look feminine on the outside, they would say. So they wouldn't go for a rough design, like they wouldn't pick the car that Steve was describing. They would pick the car that looks cute on the outside. You're like, why? You spend most of the time sitting inside the car. Why do you care how it looks outside? No, they do care.
So are you saying that basically women's choices they don't think about the more important things about the purpose of a vehicle. They think about all the adventure, all the aesthetic things. They don't.
Of course they do. Look, they pick iPhones over Android. I should tell you something. I used to have an iPhone. My dad would always buy me iPhones. I, I don't know why, but like he wanted me to have the best phone. Okay, I understand that, but I was so like limited. I'm usually, if I'm driving a car, I want it to drive me from point A to point B. I don't need the fancy flashy things in there, right? With the phone, I need it. Well, I use my phone more often, so I need a camera. I need a lot more things. But Android can do all of those things as
So
iPhone
you're
can. But iPhone is charging like double, triple price just for being an iPhone.
Elena, you seem to be claiming NAWALT. Not all women are like that. Oh no, I'm not a woman that chooses style.
No,
I'm the woman who chooses practical.
well, I choose it because my husband chose it for me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. I'm not making the decision what kind of phone I'm using. When I was with my dad, he would buy me the iPhones. Okay, fine, dad. I'll use that phone. Now my husband is buying me Android. It's like same thing. Like they are very similar phones.
How's your situation with the boxes?
What boxes? The ones that I was like, okay. We are not
The
going there
collapsed
today.
boxes
We're
in the
not going
garage?
there. No, they were in the living room after shopping. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I just I sometimes I don't understand women either. Like you don't want to listen to a man who knows better, right? Who understands this technology better than you do. Instead, you go with the design, all of the marketing. It's tailored towards women because men don't care. They pay attention to other things, to more important things.
Doesn't this all just, aren't we talking about Genesis 3? The creation story.
Yeah.
Okay, man was created with dominion. He was lonely. God put the man to sleep, took a rib out of the man, and created the woman as a helpmeet. Didn't create her as the boss, created her as a helper. So man had characteristics. Women were created with other characteristics. But there was a hierarchy implied there, or in actuality, in creation. So when a woman leaves the hierarchy, the order, he's promoting disorder. Disorder is destroy. Disorder is chaos. Out of chaos comes more chaos. And so when she leaves, yes, she's going to destroy herself because she's moving towards disorder. She's going to destroy her kids because, okay, she took them out of order. And, but what is the curse when she sinned? Her desire shall be for her husband, and he shall rule over her. Okay, so her desire is to be the man, to be the person in charge. But in order for her to exist well, he's supposed to rule over her. She doesn't want that rule, so she leaves. the order goes to disorder. And gee, imagine that. It didn't work out right. Didn't work out good in the long term. In the short
Okay,
term,
Steve,
maybe it
I'm
will.
going to challenge you here because you asked us for the challenge before the live stream. I love your thesis here, but I hear a lot of women say, "But who wrote the Bible?" So men wrote the Bible in a way to subjugate women. So what if they believe that this is not the actual order that is supposed to be, but they believe what feminism tells them? Like, you are the goddess, you know what's best for you.
Okay,
Doesn't
well,
work.
first of all, did man write the Bible, or was man inspired by God to write down what God led him to believe? So that's one thing. Or you can say there is no God and men wrote the Bible, but maybe men used their wisdom of, hey,
I'll
this
be
is
right
what
back.
works. And so they put it into writing.
Mhm.
And so it contains wisdom gained from the experience and the observations of men. Okay, now the third option is men just did that because they're so insecure. They want to subvert women, rule over women. Well, I don't know about that, because throughout the ages, men have defended women, men have gone to war to protect their families. And if it was a selfish motivation, I don't think men throughout history would have acted in such a protective manner to actually sacrifice or give their lives for the women. And even today,
Mhm.
men really work very hard in marriage. When they're married and have kids, they work their asses off to
Yeah.
provide. And men today are actually not ruling over women. So if you say the tendency of men to rule over women is a bad thing, and we're so much more evolved today that men are not doing that. Hey, what is the outcome? Where's our society at? Are women happier today than women were 40, 50, 100 years ago?
Mhm.
If you like this, the outcome better be better. It should be better, but I don't think it is. So I don't think this men wrote the Bible in order to subvert women. I doesn't resonate with me. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, when you look at the actions and behavior, what actually happens, how men behave, yeah, they still defend women, they still take care of women. Yeah, it's the rebellious nature of women that wants to destroy everything. Uncontrolled rebellious nature. Because look what
Okay.
happens. Okay, let me just bring this point out.
Yeah.
Well, I still remember. Let's look at the family, for example, right? A wife chooses to leave her husband at some point, maybe later in life when the kids grow up, and then uh, she actually just destroyed the lives and the future of their kids. Oh, Nick, okay. Yeah, she just destroyed the future of her kids, because even if she found her happiness, she found herself or whatever, she feels much better now without her ex-husband. But look where he is versus where she is. He has business, most likely because he was working his entire life. His financial situation is so much better than hers. And then now she has to hustle. Now she has become this harlot, really, the town bicycle, right? Because the only asset that she has is her pussy. Let's be honest here, right? What else? What else is there? And then her children, like, they will have to hustle too. If it's daughters or like sons, it's just a mess, because your ex-husband can still marry, he can find a much better, much compliant wife for himself. And then
If
what's
he's
out left there for her kids, even if they are grown up, so she doesn't need the alimony and child support. Now the kids can take care of themselves. But then still, if he has resources, where do you think they will go? To his prior family, to his prior kids, or to his new family who treats him better?
Well, what happens to men is they absolutely get destroyed. Some of them even end their lives over this. But that's in the 1, 2, 3-year time frame. They're just so beaten down, and every turn they're called back into courts, and it's just sapping all their income, and they can barely survive. If they get past that, 10 years later, damn, they're making good money. And now, at some point, and it may be way down the line, they will no longer, in most cases, have the burden, the financial burden of that woman, and they will do very, very well, even if they're not making a lot more money. Right now, I have no woman in my life. Gee, you know what?
You save a lot
My
of
bank
money.
account keeps growing week after week, steadily. And Nick, I don't know, you're kind of in that same position. Are you finding the same thing?
I got peace. Yep, I'm making money.
And financially,
I
are you
spend it
better?
on books, and basically necessities. Yeah. No.
Okay,
You don't
so
have the
spending it on books and
boxes, yeah.
necessities, even with your frivolous spending, does your financial condition improve week by week by week?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm the one in the family who is acquiring all of the boxes, like Nick mentioned.
Well-
It's I spend more money than my husband does, and my husband only spends it on necessities, on the things that benefit both of us, like food, right? Like toilet paper, some things that both of us need. Occasionally, like rarely, he buys something for himself, but it's mostly me. I spend a lot of money. This is why I'm always rolling my eyes when I hear women say, "I'm an investment. I'm not an expense." Like,
It sounds to me like you have the perfect complementarian marriage. You each bring something to the marriage. He earns the money, you spend the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that they're all everybody that says they're equal. So, well, what are you equally bringing?
Right. One brings, another one spends. That's all women do.
That's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
loving it.
You know what? Picture driving a team of horses or a team of oxen. That means 2 side by side. They're equally yoked. Gee, imagine that. If one of them is doing all the pulling and the other one is slacking off, are they equally yoked? No. What's the driver? What's his solution to that? He's got this thing called a whip.
Yeah.
And you know what? He'll flick that on the ass of the one that's not pulling that well. Get her to pull its own weight. So the women who want to be equally yoked, are they pulling their weight? Or do they need just a flick of a whip on their posterior to start pulling their own weight so the yoke can be equally balanced? I'm just kidding here, folks. But these analogies are meant to be funny and illustrate points, not to be taken literally.
You don't beat your view when they are not performing, right? Yeah. Well, it does make sense. It does make sense. When a man is in charge, he will make sure that his wife behaves accordingly, right? He has
He's
to,
good.
because otherwise she's not going to listen. She's not going to respect. She will assume this masculine role, and we've analyzed a lot of content before, and I've seen women whining. They say now they want the masculine man, but they define the masculine man as if he's a beta for her only, and but he still provides, protects, he still fulfills the traditional masculine gender roles, plus all of that feminist crap that they've been telling to themselves, like emotionally available. Yeah,
Thanks.
but they all
Pass.
want a masculine. They say they want a masculine man because if he doesn't behave like a masculine man, then women feel like they have no choice but to act like a masculine woman herself.
Yeah, well, if he's that sensitive man who is, emotionally in touch with her and supportive and all that, problem is that doesn't really give her tingles.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I got blocked by somebody on Twitter for basically saying that's a recipe for disaster.
Oh.
Affirming all her feelings and blah blah blah. Yeah.
It's chick crack. It's what girls
yeah,
are
it's stupid.
listening to.
It doesn't work.
I'm just amazed by the state of men today, because there are so many men who listen to this crap too.
Oh
And
no, and
you
the
have to be
churches,
nice.
they emasculate the men.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to be more empathetic. You need to understand her feelings. I'm like, yeah, I can understand them having feelings, but it's not my job to be your freaking emotional tampon and sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to run a household, and well, I can understand you might feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, the facts don't give a crap about your feelings. Reality is not going to bend its knee to bend to your feelings. Your feelings are irrelevant many times to the actual problems.
Yeah. I was having a thought, because women already have the sisterhood. They have the girls that
Here's my internet.
No, it was Elena's internet this time.
Oh, that was her this time. Okay.
sorry guys, yeah, my camera overheated. Women have this sisterhood, right? They have their girlfriends that they usually go to for emotional support. I'm like, their girlfriends must really suck if they can't provide them what women are looking for, because then otherwise why would women demand the same freaking thing from their husbands or from men? Like, look, they get emotional support from their girlfriends, or so they call it. Then they demand that emotional availability from their husbands.
No. Yeah, they do, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know.
And then when the husbands don't react the way they do, or they do, either way, a lot of times, he's just mean and the sisterhood poisons against the husband, or she's dry, dead bedroom. Because he's her friend. He's friend zoned, essentially. He put himself in the friend zone.
Yeah, because he treats her like her girlfriends treat her. When a man is trying to be nice and appealing to her feelings and emotions, this is what her girlfriends are doing. If he's not treating her as a man,
Well, then he's got to respect her feelings, and poor her. Her feelings rule everything. So he's got to do the dishes. He's got to vacuum. He's got to do everything, not just outside the house, but if she's too tired or anything, hell, it's okay. You go out with your girlfriends. I'll watch the kids. Da 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 da.
He's doing
Always
all of
change
this he's doing all of these chores because he acts like your girlfriend. Because
Right.
her
And he
girlfriends
thinks
are
he's going to get
appealing.
something out of it.
Yeah. Her
He's
girlfriends
not.
are appealing to her feelings, to her emotions. They tell her, "Oh, poor you. He is such an ass." La 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 la. And then when he starts thinking like her girlfriends, he starts behaving like her girlfriends. Of course, she's going to friend zone him. What else do
Yep.
we expect there?
And
Well,
either way,
let's
if she's going to end up destroying herself, and then the
so
kids if they have kids.
so to cope. Women usually rule the whole house. They decorate it, and everything's got to be in its place. So then we got this development called the man cave.
Yeah.
So a man has his man cave. And some men, okay, they go to their man cave, got the computer with computer games, or maybe they're Motorhead, they're collecting memorabilia, auto memorabilia, or something like that, or it's sports related, whatever. In the man cave, you purposely leave it dirty, disgusting, and cluttered. And then she goes, "Oh, that place is such a disaster. I refuse to go in there."
That's
Oh,
the point.
perfect. I can go to my man cave. She thinks it's such a disaster. She will not enter my space. Oh, peace. I have my own space.
Hallelujah.
Except laugh.
Sounds so familiar. You know what? Guys? When we just married, I used to clean the house more often. I would do a weekly cleaning because I don't know, it was just a habit of mine to clean the house regularly. Then my husband told me, like, "You don't have to clean the house so regularly." And then I was like, "Okay, I'll do a general cleaning once a month, so maybe once in 2 months." And now there is one room. This is my husband's room that I almost never come in because it's so cluttered, it's so messy, and every time I try to vacuum there, it's like I have to go through hell in order to even do a little bit of cleaning. And then I don't touch anything there. I don't touch anything that's on the desk. I leave it the way it is because he wants it the way it is. It's the only room that he has for himself in the entire house because I dominated everything else. Everything else is filled with my stuff. And then, also his bathroom. We have 2 separate bathrooms, which is great because I don't go there either very often. Otherwise, I would be pissed more often than I am when I occasionally show up there to do some cleaning. Yeah, but absolutely, I agree 100%. A man must have his own cave room in the house.
Times though, it's a problem if he had it indicates a deeper problem if he has to retreat to his man cave. Because he's essentially given up authority over his own house.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, this is why we didn't replace all of the furniture that he used to have. So we kept his couch, we kept and you can see like some of the more flowery decorative stuff is something that I bought. We acquired throughout living together. But then there are some things that like they look like masculine and we kind of fuse them in, And every time a woman tries to redecorate the house completely, like don't allow her to do that because she will convert it into, I've seen some apartments that are just for women, where women live. Everything is so cute and flowery and, so perfectly arranged, so perfectly matched. And it's just, there is no space for a man there. There is
Hey,
no
Nick.
sign of a man there.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell a story about your dad and something about his house?
It's not his house. It's his house, but it's not his house. He has his office, his office for his business.
So he
that's
has his
basically where
man cave. The rest of the house
his
is
place of
hers.
business. Pretty much. He's afraid to touch things in that house.
And okay, just to say, your dad is a very successful man who's done well for himself, correct?
Yes, he has. Yep.
But even he
Well, he'll
has
say
a
it.
room. He has a room that, okay, I'm king of my room.
Mhm.
No, it's just
I'm
his
not being
office.
critical, guys. I'm just saying, hey, this is how most people live.
Yeah. I sometimes
But
have to
I do
remind.
think it is a problem. It is a problem though if you feel like you can't touch anything in your own house.
Yeah,
It is a
definitely.
problem if you feel like you have no say what's going on in your house.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, you don't put up men should not put up with that crap. She
But
builds that house around him and the family. It's
yeah,
not just her.
it's not just your space, it's not your house. I have to remind my husband sometimes he wants to watch TV, like a football game. I always tell him you can watch it downstairs because it's like a common place, and there is
Oh,
his
I got
couch there, and yeah.
I got a story about destroying family and kids, how women destroy themselves and their kids. Well,
Mhm.
I was an intern at a Presbyterian church in America, uh, church down the road, down the interstate in Louisiana, and the Astros were playing in the World Series. I was like, I haven't watched a baseball game in years. It's like Astros are playing in the World Series. I'm gonna watch the baseball game. She threw so much of a fit because the kids wanted to watch some cartoon, and I said no, I'm watching the baseball game. That she started calling up the pastors and everything. Oh, he's so mean, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I just drove off.
Well, she
And then
basically
then the
kicked you
pastors
out.
come in and
Yeah.
scold. Then yeah, I have no say over what I
Yeah.
always have to. Man always has to do what the woman wants. Don't you know? Servant leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so all the
Talk
pastor was
about
scolding me. I'm going to put you under church discipline because you basically being mean to your wife because you wanted to watch a baseball game. I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me.
taking a trivial matter
Mm-hmm.
in a moment in time and escalating it to epic proportions. This
Want to
makes
watch
no
the
sense.
baseball game.
Do men do this? Take a trivial matter and blow it all out of proportion? No, that
Not so much.
creates unrest. Not worth my energy to do that. But somehow women often do that. Take a trivial matter
Mhm.
and exaggerate it, then blow it out of proportion, then go back in history and parse through all her recollection of what happened to create some case, some narrative, and continue to escalate it like this is the end of the world and
Mhm.
you're a bad
Well,
man because
Steve,
of this.
creating a narrative is actually a big one because then what they do with this narrative, they perpetrate it to their kids. They brainwash their
Mm-hmm.
kids. They send
And the
them
kids see
against.
this.
Yes, they alienate the kids away from their fathers. This is what women do. Because kids then, assuming this narrative that she's selling to them, they start being these promise keepers. Oh, I won't be like my dad. My dad is so horrible. My dad is so awful. I'm not going to talk to him because he treated my mom so badly. And because kids are only being exposed to one narrative, and in a lot of cases, kids don't even want to hear what dad has to say about it.
Well, when a woman does this, it's been said she's spiraling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps escalating. Her emotions, she keeps escalating and spiraling and circling around. And it gets worse and worse. And the worse and worse it gets, the more upset and angry she is, the more miserable she is. She's creating the whole thing. But at that moment, she's not letting or wanting the man to rule over her, and he's not doing it. On the other hand, just as an analogy, when she starts to spiral, and every woman will, and if the man steps in and says, no, that's it, and stops that spiral, let's call this, I know, putting her in her own place. Not as a positive thing. Now her emotions are not going to spiral out of control, and her dissatisfaction will. Okay, now, in this hypothetical situation, which woman will be happier? The one who there is a check and a boundary and put her in her place so she doesn't spiral out of control, or the woman who's given the freedom to spiral out of control? Which woman will be happier?
The first one.
Oh, but it's so terrible when the man does that.
No, it's not. I love it when my husband sets a mirror in front of me and says, no, you're not doing this. Or oftentimes,
not in the moment you don't.
Yeah, but you have to realize that he's doing it for your for the betterment of you, for your future. Yep. So that you have to acknowledge that, you know what? Yes, I don't enjoy it at the moment, but I would much rather have this. I would much rather have a man who says no to me than the man who appeases to me and allows me to spiral in my own misery and emotions. Who cares for a woman more? The man who tells no to her and who sets boundaries and healthy standards for her, or the man who is a butt licker? Who cares for her more?
The simp, doesn't he?
Not
emotionally, on a superficial level.
Oh, I'm being pussy.
I think he should be called a boot licker.
Bootlicker.
Not a butt licker. Because bootlicker means he's even lower.
Yeah,
he's licking her boots. Because you know what? She deserves to have a good shine on her boots.
Exactly. Yeah.
So back to the theme. Women tend towards disorder. Which is why they're destructive. Men, in general, create order. So that is why a hierarchy is necessary to stop her destructive tendencies, which stem from disorder. So if you want disorder, just remove the man from the situation, or have the man not do his job, his role, his duty to maintain order, which might mean ruling over her in a benevolent way. Benevolent, not malevolent. Okay, we have words for good leaders, bad leaders. And we recognize both. A man should be a good leader.
Oh, but a woman must listen to him. Because what happens a lot, women say that, oh, but if he told me this or that, if he did this or that, I would be not doing the things that I'm doing right now. But would you listen to him when he was telling you those things?
No. And you know what? Men and women, go back to Genesis 3. It says, and he will rule over her. God said that. So women, it's not his fault that he's ruling over you. He is doing his job, and he must rule over you for you to achieve and maintain stability. Not going to go good if he's not effectively ruling. And I know that seems like a harsh word in our modern sensibilities, but it doesn't have to be. Doesn't mean he gets to be a tyrant. Stop that catastrophic extreme thinking. Well, if this means, well, then what if he does this, blah, 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 and it's exaggerated to the moon and say, well, that's absurd. So therefore, none of this rational stuff is reasonable. Stop that. That's just baloney. And your women are excellent at escalating something, exaggerating to the point of absurdity to dismiss the truth of a matter. Nick is smiling over there.
Oh, I made this old lady yell at me last night. It's hilarious. So,
Oh, tell us.
oh, she was going on and on about her politics, and I was just being, whatever. I'm having my Oktoberfest beer, and I'm having my 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 bratwurst, and we had Oktoberfest around the corner, so
Germany,
I
yeah.
was just enjoying my food, my beer, and she's just I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And she started talking about women and how it's terrible what's going on and the SSA, sexual A and all this stuff, and how common it is and blah blah blah. And I'm like, it happens to guys too. We just tend not to report it, and guys can tend to move on. I'm like, okay, I'm just saying. It's like, oh well, it's like, but abuse, and I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about domestic abuse and who's actually the more violent. And she got angry. She's like, yeah, and we're talking about voting. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind if the 19th was repealed, and she got.
You want to piss off a woman? Say
That's because
exactly
y'all
what you say.
evidently haven't done a good job voting with the crap that you put up with 1 million abortions in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, Pearl did a stream. I think she was mentioning, what do women vote
Single
for?
old lady. Single old lady, single for a reason, probably destroyed herself and her kids if she had any.
Exactly, and but they will never admit it's their fault. And even the women who basically removed their kids from their ex-husbands, let's say their ex-husbands survived the divorce, right? They are successful business owners now, and then the kids are not going to talk to the father. They're not going to get the inheritance. They're not going to benefit at all. They will have to hustle themselves. Yeah, it's like coming back to that math. Women can't do math. Like, what's the benefit of you leaving your husband? Oh, the tingles. I don't feel like, I need to go find myself. Okay, you found yourself, you ruined your life and definitely the life of your kids. Was it really that worthy, those tingles that come and go? Today you have tingles for the new guy, tomorrow you don't.
Why does it ruin the lives of their children? What happens when children are raised by a single mommy?
Nothing good.
They grow up undisciplined. They have no work ethic, low time preference, meaning they cannot save now for a future benefit. They cannot work now for something greater down the road. They have a sense of entitlement. They're really unbound. Nobody's putting boundaries over them. I'm putting this all under the category of they are undisciplined individuals. Because a woman cannot impose discipline. Okay, and I mean impose. What I mean by that is impose order, have order. He does not take charge and say, nope, this is not happening. But he thinks discipline is punishment. No, discipline is order. It's order in the world and order in your mind to say, oh, this would be fun to do, but I really shouldn't do that because, that's destructive or that's short-sighted. I need to plan for the future. That's what that's what a father does. You remove the father, you remove that whole body of training.
So they have their higher rates to end up criminals in jail and prison, higher rates of drug use, higher rates of self-deletion, higher rates of mental illness. I think you already said that, but
higher rates
not
of
good.
out of wedlock births of the daughters, younger sexual experimentation, because the daughters have this craving for masculine love. How do young women pursue a masculine love? The center of their bodies, the center of their existence, their pussy. If I spread my legs, I will get masculine love.
You'll get high body count. For sure.
So women destroy themselves, they destroy the family, and because they can't do the math, they don't think about the consequences, not only for themselves, but especially for their children, because they deserve to be happy, to be true to themselves, to follow their own heart.
Remember Casey Anthony, who unalived her baby? She ended up in a nightclub celebrating. It's kill to party. It exists. It's out there. Women will sacrifice their children in pursuit of their own happiness. Even for a moment, for 1 year, maybe for a few months, that tingles need to be satisfied at the expense of their children. Shame on you, ladies. Shame on you.
We can easily see this in the abortification issue. Women are more pro abortification than men. Even non-religious men say no. Even non-religious men who might knock up a woman and be on the hook, they'll say, no, we shouldn't do this abortification stuff. Okay, who is promoting the destruction and who is supporting life in a general way based on the feelings? I don't know that many men who are adamant pro abortification, but a lot of feminist women are. They're advocating for destruction.
Yes. In regards to abortification, here I have the study based on the answers from 40 men. I can tell you how many points men deducted for having abortion. Hold on, I need to check the question first. Okay, question 9. Negative 5.05. Basically, half of men. Well, it depends on the age, because this is why I needed to do a later study to reveal whether older men care if a woman had abortion or not, because a lot of them, older men, would say that they don't care. But the men who want family, who are young, who are thinking about getting married, they deducted negative 10, like quite a few of them.
How can I trust her to care for and raise the kids that I sire with her if she previously killed her offspring? How can she value my offspring if she doesn't value her offspring?
Oh, Steve, I have another argument for you, the feminist argument that we could think of. A woman could say, a single mother would say that, well, see, I didn't kill my prior offspring, so now you must marry me because I'm such a virtuous woman. I didn't commit that abortion. I didn't kill my offsprings.
No, great. Okay, so you're one of those rare single mothers that cares. Now, do you care enough about your children to place them solely under my authority? So if I wife you up, they're no longer under your authority. You do not get to rule over your children. I get to rule over them, because otherwise we are not bound together in the way that God imagined. He didn't intend for you to be in charge of your children. And if you're going to keep charge and authority over your children, and I have no say, you are no better than a divorced woman who's destroying herself and her children.
Yeah.
If you see me as a threat to your children, therefore you need to keep authority. You are not my wife. You are my enemy. Because you have put me in opposition to you. You are afraid of my authority. Therefore, you will subvert my authority, and you're not wife material.
So true.
I can be a little bit blunt sometimes.
Oh, this is what we love about you, Steve. Yeah. So the
Yeah, you
single
gotta tell them the
mothers,
truth.
some single mothers will get it, and if they are willing to give authority, it's not the best phrasing, but let's go with it for now. If they are not willing to give the authority to their second husband, who will take charge of them and their kids, do you think they will be able to find themselves a decent man?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if you are afraid to give me authority over your children, you're afraid of me. That means you think I'm a bad man. Get the hell away from me then. Do not invite a bad man into your life. If you think I'm a threat, get rid of me.
Well, if she doesn't think that you are a threat, and if she says that she's willing to Nick is not if she's willing to give authority over her and over her children to you, would you consider that?
Yes. I mean, not where I'm at in age now, but I thought I had that. And I did have that until she decided, no, I still have authority. And so, you know what? She can pay lip service to this, and you may think you have authority, and you may actually have authority, but then 10 years down the line, oh no, you're hurting their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, my eldest daughter, who has emotional have problems regulating her emotions. You keep creating conflict. Why? Because you keep asking her when she's going to get her driver's license. You keep asking her when she's going to get a job. You keep asking her when she's going to get her GED. You know what? She has this emotional disturbance, and she just needs time to relax and figure things out. Well, gee, it's been like 18 months now. So when is she going to get her driver's license? When is she going to get her GED? How about she takes a part-time job? Oh no, you're creating conflict. You are out of the picture. You're a bad man now, and I need to divorce you. Okay, so she's promoting a fucked up daughter who may have problems. Yes. But okay, life is life. Now, at 50, yes, maybe you got another 20, 25 years to support your hapless daughter. But then you're going to be 75 and your daughter's going to be 40 without a driver's license, without a GED, never had a job. Yeah, that's a good outcome. Oh, remember when I said slow motion train wreck?
Yeah.
And it may take 20 years to work out. But,
Mhm.
oh, the bridge is out. You're on this train track. And you know what? You keep going down here. The bridge is out. The train is going to go off the cliff.
I just say, don't wife up single mommies. I know there's always the exception. You think you got the golden goose, whatever, but
Mhm.
in general, don't date single mommies. They're single mommies probably for a reason.
For a reason.
And it's
Yeah.
probably not the reason she's telling you.
Oh, of course not. It's never
Okay.
that. What, do you expect them to tell the truth?
No, this is not a random thing. Some women are this way, some women are that way. No, that's the wrong thing. I just need to pick the good woman. No. All women have a female nature.
Mhm.
All women have the same basic nature. All women are going to go towards that nature. Now, what distinguishes that? The woman who has some self discipline and who firmly places herself under your authority. Okay, that woman still has the same nature as the woman who is rebellious and who acts on her rebellion. The nature is not changed, it is the control or the boundary over her nature, which comes from her upbringing, her training, her family, her father, and it comes from where she places herself or puts herself under you and the man's ability to put her in that place and impose the boundaries to, and then, you know what? This is not, you still, man still needs to allow her to experience and feel adventure. Don't put her in that purity box. And Elena has talked about this, and she said a woman needs to be a whore for her husband. A woman needs that. So you're going to have to provide the adventure and the experience in the sexual area. Otherwise, she's going to be bored and she's going to say, oh, I need to go find myself.
Yeah, find adventure. So that she feels excited.
A woman wants emotional stimulation. That's excitement.
Yep.
If you're a boring, stable man, he's going to be bored with his stability. I mean, women create drama. Well,
Mhm.
you better create or allow that sexual, adventurous expression, change of emotions. It's not in the marriage. He's kind of got this instinct to seek it out. And why do you think all this infidelity by women happens? She's looking for some kind of excitement that's not in her marriage. What? Okay, I'm not blaming it on the men, but what if that was present in the marriage? Would she be as inclined to step out?
That's a great point. But women need to stop wearing this Madonna mask for their husbands, because what they usually do, and we talked about it before, right? They fuck around and then they settle down with a guy, and then they say, oh, I've changed, I've transformed, no more sex for anybody. But what they're really saying is no more sex for the guy, for the sucker guy who bails you out. But they still need sex because it's a physiological need that both men and women have. Whether men or women have a higher sex drive, it's a separate question, right? Men usually have a higher sex drive than women, but women still need to satisfy their sexual needs. If they don't satisfy them in the marriage, they will go and satisfy them elsewhere.
This stems from a false belief that exists in men and women. Women believe that they can only be loved for their purity. Why they always lie about their sexual past to appear more pure to achieve the love by a man. And men think, oh, I want a pure woman, so she shouldn't have the sexual past. So you value purity, and I will love the pure woman. And the woman says, I will be loved when I'm pure. Okay, great. There is some truth here. But what you threw out is, oh, if she acts sexually desirous and wanton, that aspect of her is not loved. So she's going to try and put that in a box and put it up on the shelf and forget about it during her purity years from, 28 to 38. Well, she gets married, has a couple of kids, and then, oh, that box on the shelf is calling to me. Oh, the love. I'm not really loved for who I am because that part of me that's put in that box, if he knew about that, he wouldn't love me. Therefore, his love is just for the act. I'm not happy. I got to go unpack this box, take it out, and I got to experience some things. So what is the answer? You got to love a woman for the purity side of her and the horror side of her. For purity and exploration, and explore within the marriage. God designed marriage, and it's supposed to be fulfilling, and it's supposed to be the way we should be. Why does there have to be that missing aspect within the marriage? I think it's our culture that teaches us this, and it's not working.
Doesn't work. And because they're not satisfied, they're gonna look elsewhere, and their emotions win over pretty much everything. So they'll destroy themselves and their kids. And guess what happens to the next generation? The cycle tends to repeat. And people, that's the problem with these tradcons. They keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and think they're going to get a different result. Oh, they just need to wife up these women. And oh, yeah, they need to find Jesus. Yeah, they need to find Jesus, but not just to find a man, to have kids and then throw everything under the bus while they're still living by their operative theology, which is rebellion and rebellious feminism.
I don't like how they interpret finding Jesus. Every time when women say that they found Jesus, I just assume that they are harlots, because it's like they prioritize Nick. And I wanted to bring it up to you and see what you think about it, because when women are saying it publicly that, oh, I found Jesus, I'm pure now, I've transformed, and I'm no longer that I was before. which means that, okay, they prioritize Jesus over their husband. They just found an idol to prioritize over their man, which kind of contradicts the biblical hierarchy, because women can't bypass their men.
Christ should be their chief priority in their life, but he also establishes the hierarchy. So they're not contrary to one another. They're in sweet harmony.
So, Nick, are you familiar with Martin Luther's analogy of the dung heap?
I'm not. I've probably heard it before, but you can remind me if. And I
Okay,
might not.
Catholics use this argument against Lutherans. I'm not sure of the exact quote, but I'm going to use it as an analogy without trying to get into the theological aspects of it. We humans are like a dung heap, and Christ's love is like a blanket of snow over the dung heap. It looks pure. So these women who say, I found Jesus, it's like a new fallen snow over a pile of dung.
Nick, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now we can, yeah.
Yeah, you were
Oh,
laughing.
God.
You just you liked that analogy, didn't you, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes, there is a covering of Christ. His blood does cover you, but there's also the work of the Spirit within you. So you can't just have salvation, or, forgiveness of sins without sanctification. The Spirit working within you to conform you to Christ, whereby you are doing good works and turning away from wickedness.
So, okay, folks, anybody who gets mad at me for that analogy, all analogies are imperfect. And some analogies go to extremes, which therefore is absurd. But it still illustrates something that you maybe didn't think of before. I'm not saying it's absolutely true.
That's why you have to these tradcon women, these church lit says, I found Jesus. Okay. You say that with your words, but I'll observe your faith by your works. That's James.
And in the tradcons, the trad wives, what are they holding up as making them lovable? They're holding up their purity. Oh, look at me. I dress so modestly, sexually in these tasteful 50s clothes. My hair is done bright, and I have, I'm making homemade cookies or that.
Wow.
It's this purity posturing that is supposed to make them lovable for their purity. So it's kind of like the snow over the pile of crap.
Well, I actually don't mind that, Steve. I think that there should be some standards how women should be dressed publicly, and it applies to fitness instructors. And I recently commented on George Bruno's post that he made about gyms, where we see semi-naked chicks basically wearing mini shorts, crop tops, going to the gym. When men want to go to the gym, ladies, to exercise, not to look at your butts, okay? Don't convert gym into a porn hub. And I did.
And the guys, I see them, they say they're flocking to their own destruction. That's some of the guys.
Well, I called gym, and I'm not against gym, okay? If it's done right, it can actually benefit you guys. But you have to be careful, because when you see gym as a nightclub, they go to the nightclub, you'll see the same kind of outfits that girls are wearing there, except it will be like a slinky dress instead of the booty shorts. I'm not a fan when I see ladies wearing mini shorts and crop tops in public places. Period. End of discussion. So I would agree like with the traditional wives in a way that, okay, if you want to wear something more concealing, that you are not revealing it publicly because only your men should see you, right? Technically, then yeah, but then don't virtue signal, do it for your man instead.
Well, yeah, I'm not against a woman wearing traditional clothes, but when she's wearing traditional clothing and then putting on these airs as if that's her virtue,
Yeah.
she's kind of making an idol, and she's elevating purity, and she's trying to. It's an act, and it's over the top, putting herself out there, saying, "Oh, look how traditional I am." How about you just shut up and wear modest clothing, and you don't
make me a
seek
sandwich.
attention for how modest you are. Have
I
I
love
told
that
you
one.
lately about how humble I am?
I know, right? Yeah, look at me, look at me, look at me. No out here.
How dare you say make me a sandwich?
How dare you, Nick?
No,
Yeah.
how dare you? I'm supposed to get undressed for you? I'm
Right.
not
Well,
a
see,
sexual object. Don't you sexualize me. I'm not a sexual object.
No, but when I want to be a sexual object, I'll go seek attention from Chad.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
it's not a sexual
right.
object for
Well, this is
you.
why. Well, see, women maintain big cloud. Why? You know, both trad wives, trad cons, they want a big cloud on social media, and then harlots obviously want also a big cloud for the same reason. Actually, they all want attention. They all want the same
That's
army.
their currency.
They all want the simp army because okay, in case of the tradcons, trad wives, they're just virtue signaling that they're so much better than these Nawalt women who are so super traditional. They are appealing to a different kind of audience, but they are still looking for the same attention. The harlots, they are obviously looking for attention that will convert into money later on, but it's the same attention-seeking behavior that we see in both. So how much are these tradcons, trad wives, not public harlots, who are seeking public attention and validation from the actual harlots who want that attention and validation? Both have the same mindset.
Dress better.
This
One
is
dresses
exactly,
more
one
modestly.
dress is better than the other, but their mindset is the same.
Their nature is the same. The nature of women is the nature of women. Whichever outward appearance is, the nature is not different. So my my worry for the trad wives is they're going to maintain this persona, this mask, and they're making an idol of the mask, and eventually they'll be tired of wearing that mask, and will fall off the purity wagon. Go seek adventure elsewhere. And you know what? Don't make an idol of being on the purity wagon, because it's not going to last forever, and you're going to become dissatisfied, and then you're going to abandon that and leave your husband and go on an adventure. Okay, maybe not you, but over 50% of women will do that. A woman just like you will choose to do that. And sorry, you have the same nature as that woman. You may decide differently.
And let me just clarify here, not making an idol of a purified woman and the purity mask that Steve is talking about does not give you an excuse to dress up provocatively publicly or on social media. Right, Steve?
Yeah. It's not dress slutty or dress trad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you have to decide one or the other. If you dress trad, it means this. And if you dress slutty, it means that. No, dress modestly. And then these other aspects that we place on that, they're just factors as we're trying to simplify it according to dress. So, yeah, dress slutty for your husband, dress
Mm-hmm.
modestly for the public. Okay? Problem solved.
Yeah. Wow. I love today's live stream, guys. We don't have a lot of people. Guys, remember to send us your comments in. Tell us what you think about these topics. We are kind of on a roll today. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, guys. Let's wrap it up because Nick wanted to leave earlier today. Do you have any final thoughts and suggestions?
Meaning not just to say that, oh, I'm a Christian woman, and actually believe it and put in the effort. And still they're gonna be the rebellious nature due to the fall will still be somewhat present. That's what women do. Some women are better, some are raised under a father that can help. But men need to be aware of this so they don't get as destroyed. They need to understand what can happen to them from the woman, how women tend to act, and know the consequences that can happen to their own children, as well as evaluate whether to bring in a single mommy who's done this already, probably destroyed themselves and their kids, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my advice. A lot of Christian men out there who have a dead bedroom. Okay, that relates to everything we talked about today. You probably wifed up that woman and in her purity phase. And she's probably pretending to be pure in order to receive your love. But now, Emma, you're just not getting any because, well, she's not attracted to you and she doesn't think she can be that adventurous woman with you. That sexually adventurous woman. Because it's not who she postured herself to be with you. Oh, what's the solution? Start talking to her about this phenomena of, yeah, you want the purity. Yeah, you do that to be loved. But, there's that other part of you, that wanton sexual woman. Just because you show that does not mean you're not lovable or I won't still love you. This is not a simple concept, but you got to start talking about it. Talking about it does not mean it's going to change anything, but you got to move down the path towards, uncovering this and improving your communication. And communication means the man has to lead and he has to go to some of these risky, scary places, these private places in her mind. Start to draw her out. Once you connect with her in those secret places in her mind, maybe things will improve. Although I'm not giving any guarantees. Maybe it's not possible. But men like to try the impossible, to do the impossible. So that's my suggestion.
Yeah, and suggestion for women would be follow your husband, ladies, and sleep with your husband instead of finding that box on the top shelf that you've hid from him. Right? Because when you have your sexual needs satisfied in the family, both of your sexual needs, because your husband also married you because he wants to have access to your sexuality. He wants to have sex with you. So sleep with him instead of going elsewhere and ruining your life. No, first your kids' lives and then later your life as well. So, yeah, I think we can call it done for today, guys, right?
Sure.
Nice. Well, okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We didn't get a lot of people today, but I hope that people will catch up and watch this live stream and leave us a few comments, guys. We highly appreciate your feedback. And remember that, guys, on the Resurgence of Sanity have, oops, wrong one. Hold on. 1 second, guys, here. Have very interesting live streams for you to check. On Mondays and Wednesdays, join them on their YouTube channel, The Resurgence of Sanity, at 5:45 p.m. Pacific, at 7:45 p.m. Central, and at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. They talk about very interesting topics there. And today's discussion was at 9:15 a.m. Pacific on Saturdays on Elena's Barre YouTube channel. So come join us, tell us what you think about the topics, and then join me for the regular workouts from Monday to Friday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific, 11:15 a.m. Central, and 12:15 a.m. Eastern. Cool. Okay. Let's call it done, guys. Thank you for joining us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your help and your support, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre, the best place on the internet, the very best by far.